Shahab-2 missile. Origin. The Shahab-2 is an Iranian short-range ballistic missile (SRBM) derived from the Soviet R-17E Scud seat design, with technology transferred via North Korea's HWASONG-6. Development. Entered Iranian service in the mid-1990s as part of Tehran's push for indigenous missile capabilities. Range. Approximately 500 kilometers (310 miles). Warhead. Can carry a warhead of around 770-1000 kilograms, high explosive, chemical, or potentially submunitions. Guidance. Inertial guidance system, with limited accuracy, circular error probable around 500-1000 m. Propulsion. Liquid fuel rocket engine. Launch platform. Road Mobile Transporter Erector Launchers (TELs), increasing survivability. Purpose. Designed for tactical and regional deterrence. Provides Iran with the ability to strike military bases, cities, and infrastructure in nearby countries. Significance. Though less advanced today, the Shahab-2 was important as a stepping stone for Iran's missile industry and demonstrated its capacity to modify and produce ballistic missiles domestically. Shahab-3 missile. Origin. A medium-range ballistic missile (MRBM), largely based on North Korea's NODONG-1. Iran developed and tested it in the late 1990s, with an official unveiling in 1998-2003. Range. Standard versions have 1,300 kilometers (810 miles) range, with upgraded models capable of 1,700-2,000 kilometers. This allows Iran to target Israel, U.S. bases in the Middle East, and much of southeastern Europe. Warhead. Capable of carrying 760-1,200 kilograms payloads, including high explosive or potentially unconventional warheads. Guidance and accuracy. Uses inertial navigation with some GPS/GLONASS-based updates in later variants. Early models had accuracy issues, SEP approximately 2 kilometers, but newer versions reportedly improved to 100 to 300 m SEP. Propulsion. Single-stage liquid fuel rocket. Launch system. Road Mobile TELs, making detection harder. Variants. Shahab-3A, basic model. Shahab-3B, extended range, improved guidance. Later evolutions include Ghadar 110 and Ahmad, with better accuracy and maneuverability. The Shahab-2 missile represents one of the earliest successful steps in Iran's journey toward building a self-sustaining missile capability. Developed in the mid-1990s, it is a short-range ballistic missile (SRBM) that reflects Iran's determination to establish an indigenous missile program after years of relying on imports. Its design is heavily based on the Soviet Scud R-17E, with technological influence coming through North Korea's HWASONG-6. While it may appear outdated by today's standards, its role in Iran's defense and deterrence doctrine was both symbolic and strategic. The Shahab-2 has an operational range of approximately 500 kilometers (310 miles), which puts it in the category of tactical battlefield weapons. This range makes it suitable for targeting enemy bases, infrastructure, and cities across neighboring states. For Iran, surrounded by regional rivals and foreign military presence, this missile provided an effective deterrent by giving Tehran the ability to project force quickly and with mobility. In terms of payload capacity, the Shahab-2 can carry a warhead weighing between 770 to 1,000 kilograms. This allows for different types of warheads, including conventional high explosives, fragmentation, or potentially chemical payloads. While Iran has not openly declared the use of unconventional warheads, the design leaves room for adaptability. The missile is liquid-fueled, requiring fueling before launch, a process that can take time and reduce readiness compared to modern solid-fuel designs. However, the use of Road Mobile Transporter Erector Launchers (TELs) increases its survivability, as the launchers can be moved and hidden, reducing the chance of being destroyed in a preemptive strike. The guidance system of the Shahab-2 is based on inertial navigation, which was standard for Scud-derived missiles. This provides only limited accuracy, with a circular error probable (SEP) of about 500-1000 meters. Such accuracy is not ideal for precision strikes but is considered acceptable when the target is a large area, such as a city or military installation. Iran, however, viewed the missile less as a precision weapon and more as a tool of deterrence. Its psychological impact on adversaries was arguably more important than its battlefield accuracy. Beyond its technical features, the Shahab-2 played an important political and strategic role. For Iran, developing and fielding this missile symbolized independence from external suppliers at a time when international sanctions restricted access to advanced weapons. The missile also gave Iran leverage in its regional rivalry with Iraq, the Gulf states, and Israel. Even if militarily limited, the ability to threaten retaliatory strikes forced adversaries to consider the costs of escalation. From a military perspective, the Shahab-2 was never intended to be the final product of Iran's missile program. Instead, it was a stepping stone, a platform through which Iranian engineers could gain experience in manufacturing, modifying, and deploying ballistic missile technology. The lessons learned from the Shahab-2 directly influenced the development of more advanced systems such as the Shahab-3, GHADR-110, and later precision-guided ballistic missiles. In summary, while the Shahab-2 might seem like a simple Scud copy, its significance cannot be underestimated. It gave Iran the confidence, capability, and credibility to pursue more ambitious missile projects. It shifted Iran's military posture from one of dependence to one of self-reliance. Most importantly, it provided Iran with a psychological and strategic deterrent, signaling to adversaries that Tehran had the means to respond to threats within its near neighborhood. Thus, the Shahab-2 remains a crucial milestone in the history of Iran's missile development, marking the bridge from foreign reliance to domestic innovation. The Shahab-3 missile represents one of the most significant milestones in Iran's missile development history. Unlike the Shahab-2, which was limited to a short-range tactical role, the Shahab-3 expanded Iran's reach into the category of medium-range ballistic missiles (MRBMs). Developed in the late 1990s and officially revealed in 1998, the Shahab-3 was largely based on North Korea's Nodong-1 missile but underwent Iranian modifications over time. This system became the first missile that gave Iran the capability to strike targets well beyond its immediate neighborhood, altering the strategic balance of the Middle East. The standard range of the Shahab-3 is approximately 1,300 kilometers, 810 miles, though some extended range variants are believed to reach 1,700-2,000 kilometers. With this reach, the missile can target Israel, U.S. military bases in the Persian Gulf, Turkey, and even parts of southeastern Europe. This expanded range made the Shahab-3 a strategic deterrent, elevating Iran from a regional missile power to a country with the ability to influence conflicts far beyond its borders. The Shahab-3 is powered by a single-stage liquid-fueled rocket engine, requiring fueling prior to launch. While this reduces reaction speed compared to modern solid-fueled missiles, it also allows for larger payloads. The missile can carry a warhead weighing between 760 and 1,200 kilograms, which may include conventional high-explosive, submunitions, or potentially unconventional payloads. This flexibility makes it suitable for striking large infrastructure targets, military facilities, or cities, thereby maximizing its deterrent value. When it comes to guidance and accuracy, early versions of the Shahab-3 relied on inertial navigation, which limited accuracy to a circular error probable (CEP) of around 2 kilometers. Such accuracy was poor for precision strikes but sufficient for targeting large population centers or military bases. Over time, however, Iran reportedly introduced improvements, incorporating updated navigation systems, possibly including satellite guidance. Later variants, such as the Shahab-3B and GHADR-110, significantly reduced the CEP to an estimated 100 to 300 meters, making the missile far more effective. The launch platform for Shahab-3 is Road Mobile Transporter Erector Launchers (TELs), giving the missile high mobility and survivability. By keeping the launchers dispersed and mobile, Iran makes it difficult for adversaries to conduct preemptive strikes that could neutralize its missile forces. This mobility, combined with extended range, significantly complicates the defense planning of Iran's rivals. Strategically, the Shahab-3 marked a turning point for Iran. It demonstrated that Iran could not only copy but also modify and enhance missile designs to suit its own needs. More importantly, it served as a psychological and political tool, allowing Tehran to project power, deter adversaries, and send a message of resilience in the face of international isolation and sanctions. The missile's unveiling was a statement that Iran was no longer limited to defending its borders, it could retaliate against adversaries far away. In conclusion, the Shahab-3 was not just another missile, it was a game changer. It provided Iran with its first true strategic deterrent, capable of reshaping the balance of power in the Middle East. While imperfect in its early form, the upgrades and evolution it inspired paved the way for even more advanced missiles like the Ahmad and Sejil, cementing Iran's place among countries with credible medium-range strike capabilities. The development of the Shahab-2 and Shahab-3 missiles was more than a technological achievement for Iran, it was a declaration of strategic intent. Together, these missiles shifted Iran's military posture from a purely defensive stance to one that could project power across the Middle East and beyond. The Shahab-2 gave Iran its first reliable short-range ballistic missile, capable of striking regional adversaries within 500 kilometers. While not highly accurate, it provided a credible threat against military bases, oil facilities, and urban centers in neighboring states. This capability alone forced Iran's rivals to consider the consequences of escalating conflict, as Tehran now had a tool of deterrence at its disposal. The arrival of the Shahab-3 raised the stakes significantly. With a range stretching up to 2,000 kilometers in upgraded versions, Iran could target Israel, U.S. bases across the Gulf, and even parts of Europe. This transformed the regional security environment. No longer was Iran limited to defending its borders, it now had the ability to retaliate far beyond them. The Shahab-3 became the backbone of Iran's strategic deterrence, ensuring that any aggression against Tehran carried the risk of retaliation on a much larger scale. Perhaps the most profound impact of the Shahab program was the psychological and political dimension. By unveiling these missiles, Iran sent a message to both its adversaries and its own population. Despite sanctions, isolation, and military pressure, it had developed the means to stand tall. The missiles became symbols of resilience, technological progress, and defiance in the face of external threats. Beyond symbolism, the Shahab family laid the foundation for Iran's future missile arsenal. The knowledge gained from developing and deploying these missiles directly contributed to more advanced systems like the Ghadr-110, Ahmad, and Sajil. These later designs improved accuracy, mobility, and survivability, making Iran's deterrent even more credible. In the broader context, the Shahab-2 and Shahab-3 reshaped the strategic equation of the Middle East. They compelled Iran's adversaries to invest heavily in missile defense systems, altered U.S. military planning in the region, and ensured that Tehran could not be ignored in any regional security dialogue. In the end, the Shahab missiles were not merely weapons, they were statements of sovereignty. They told the world that Iran would not remain vulnerable, that it would carve out its own path, and that any adversary thinking of undermining its security must reckon with the reach of its arsenal. The legacy of the Shahab program is clear. It turned Iran from a regional spectator into a regional power, with the ability to shape the future of the Middle East on its own terms.